Yeah, okay, cool. Welcome, one and all. Yeah, for this quick breakdown, I'll mainly be touching on like the creative workflow and more how I go about making these remixes that I do, more than actual like mixing and production stuff. So, the first step, I guess, is basically just watching the streams, listening for like audio stuff that sticks out that might make good snippets. Like that is a really good clip, especially if it's like around the same type of theme, I guess. Like Kyle likes to talk about butts a lot, so if I notice that he's doing that a lot, I'll like just start writing down and collecting timestamps in like just my on a notepad in my phone, writing down the stream, writing down the time it happens, and just like a little word or something that reminds me what I'm supposed to be looking for. I sometimes don't do that, and it's really easy to forget. So it really helps to have it written down. And once I'm ready to like make a song, once I have enough material, or think I have enough, I'll download either the Twitch VOD with Twitch Downloader, which is a program that I apparently don't have anymore, or I'll take a clip off the YouTube archives via one of the hundreds of like YouTube to MP3 sites that there are. I'll just Google YouTube MP3 downloader. The better ones let you like kind of snip out a certain section of a video, which reduces both download times and also like file sizes as well. For this song, my idea from the beginning was actually to like make a type of recap song for the whole year was my plan, which was a very big scope to do in like a day or two. I thought I would be working on this like for the whole 2 weeks during Christmas, but I never got around to it or didn't have time. So I mainly did most of the work in the last day. So this is the same project that I started working on at 2 o'clock on the first January 1st. And here I've just imported all the clips that I collected. And what I did was just, as I said, downloaded the clip. We take this one maybe, and I will extend this for the full. Here you see like the full audio from the YouTube source. Yeah, so what I'll do is just import the clip and go through it.
I was right again, my stupid chat.
Cut that part out, and I'll have it like on a separate track, and I'll drag all the clips that I want to use onto like a used track. And I'll just go through the whole thing if the video had several parts that I wanted to use. And then you end up with this, which is just like a long, full, almost 10 minutes of Kyle banter. Quotes are very good as a base for any song. I'll try to like find a few quotes that I kind of build the track off of, and then these like interstitial, I guess, like emotive exclamations are very good to just like pepper throughout the song. So I'll be sure to grab some of those as well. And especially like if it's kind of like a rhythmically cool, I'll try to make something out of that. And like find the tempo and stuff. Yeah, so just trying to find like basically the Kyle's rhythm when he's speaking about something. A lot of clips here I haven't used and I wanted to use for some reason or other. So this is the first hour basically, doing this, and then this is an hour later. So I picked out.
You're my little butterfly. Green, black, blue make the colors of the sky.
That was the first thing I picked out, because it's such a perfect quote where he's just reading lyrics, and you have the melody to go off of. I didn't really know the exact melody, so I downloaded the MIDI file of the song just to make it easier for myself, so I could just see what the notes were, and then I mapped it to autotune here. So this is the autotune version.
You're my little butterfly. Green, black, blue, make the colors of the sky.
Yeah, so I think I probably adjusted that a bit more to be more in time. I'll time stretch and stuff. And then I export that so it's easier to work with as a single file here. Kat was asking, like, when did I sing that other part? And he just totally read someone's subscription message, which was the whole thing. So subscription messages are really, really good for to get good content out of, because it's usually, yeah, dumb stuff like that. So I'll usually save those. Yeah, that was 3 o'clock, and let's jump forward an hour to 4 o'clock and see what I had done by then. Okay, so this is what I had.
Trade the car, desk quack, bring the trade quack, load the car, the quack, load, trap, desk quack, bring trade quack, load.
I was right again, my stupid chat.
Trap quack, bring
Yep, the PS5 and the original Xbox are the same size.
Yeah, so here I had basically found the memtrap clip, which I always really wanted to do a song out of, since it's so like rhythmically, I guess, inspiring, as I was talking about from before. So I basically took the audio part and found where where that part comes up, or I just listened through it, trying to find like a good section.
The car, the quack, load, trap, the trade car, desk quack, bring the trade quack, load.
So I found that part and I thought, oh, that's like a proper rhythm. So you can just repeat that basically as a loop. So I just adjusted that a bit, found the BPM and timed it so that it's in time, and then just repeated it.
Desk quack, bring the trade quack, load, trap quack, bring the trade quack.
And then I just stuck in a few of these memtrap repetitions to give it some variation. Then the next thing was probably to add the drums. Just a simple groove. And I'll like run through all my different drum settings, try and find a sound that I like. I'm not too precious about it. And then it usually becomes like the core part of the song. And that's why my songs are usually very drum heavy. And then I just, sourced another clip from going through the audio.
Good looking yank.
I like the way you work it. Dirt baggity. I like to bag it up. Slippery.
So that stuff just like sticks out really, and yeah, is really useful. So I stuck in.
Yep, I was right again, my stupid chat. Yep, the PS5 and the original Xbox are the same size.
So this part isn't really like in time with the music. That's like, I think, 2 different types of approaches you can have to making like the remixes of this kind. Is the one that I prefer is to take a clip, find the rhythm in it, and kind of tighten it. So you use what's musically there from the beginning to just expand upon. And I think that's like the most satisfying type of way, like how I did in the Dope Diggity thing, where Kyle was singing a real song, but like, yeah, just basically make a mashup of another clip that's also very rhythmically satisfying. It's a bit easier, and I'd say you can work faster if you basically make a song beforehand and then just slap on a bunch of quotes without kind of timing them to the rhythm. You can work a lot faster and get a lot more quotes in there, but I don't think it's as like satisfying as chopping up the quotes and or the samples and making the music with the samples.
Yep, I was right again, my stupid chat. Yep, the PS5 and the original Xbox are the same size.
So there I basically laid the quote on, kind of timed it in to some of the hits, as you can see here, but not super precious. I didn't time stretch it or anything, but I did chop it up at the end here to make it more musical. That's not how that goes in the final thing, because I noticed that that's a very common rhythm that I usually do, or I've used it before, so I made it a triplet feel at the end, but we'll see that later. Okay, so that's 3 o'clock. This is an hour later, 4 o'clock, and this is what I had by then.
Mem trap. That's wet. Ring.
Yep.
Trade wet.
I was right again, my stupid chat.
Mem trap. Wet. Ring.
Yep, the PS5 and the original Xbox are the same size.
Wet. Ring.
I like the way you work it.
That's wet. Ring.
Dirt baggity.
Mem trap.
Stupid chat. I like to bag it up.
That's wet. Ring. Trade wet.
Slippery, 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 slippery.
Okay, so I'd added the bass line here, and basically copy pasted the drums a few times to make it longer, added the bass line, and I don't usually like think a lot about melody or go too hard about what melodic structure the song should have, at least not like in the more like hip hop inspired beat parts. I just found this cool like froggy synth sound, hit some notes on my MIDI keyboard, and it like, that's what it turned into. I thought it sounded cool, and it kind of gave it like, I'm just looking for vibes basically with the melody. Yeah, and then I started basically pulling parts out of the rap, I guess you could call it.
The trade wet. Load. Car. That's wet. Ring. The trade wet. Load. Wet. Ring.
Putting in Kyle's quotes instead, and this is the thing I'm most proud of is the rhyme here.
I like the way you work it.
That's wet. Ring. The
Dirt baggity.
mem trap.
Stupid chat.
The desk and dirt baggity, mem trap, super chat. That's like the most fun stuff. And then I had to get in the slippery
Slippery, 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 slippery.
as a little break there. It was actually supposed to be just like the 2 repetitions here, but I've noticed that I usually make parts too short, so I doubled it up, and I think it's not too long anyway. And also I wanted the intro to be like the mem trap thing, but unedited, so it kind of like surprises you when it kicks in, and that's why I just basically took the part that came before and dragged it out so that when it goes into it, it sounds like natural and you're not really expecting it. So I added this little synth back here. It's just doubling what the bass does, different octave. Yeah, so what's going on with the way she walks Kyle clip just fit too well with the Metal Gear Solid thing, so I had to get that in there. And then look at her butt, statues are just hot. Yeah, a lot of clips just like fit together. And so I started kind of selecting those, but wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it. I knew I wanted to have this going underneath.
You're my little butterfly.
But nothing more than that. Let's jump forward an hour. Yeah, by this time 6 p.m. Might have done some things more with the drums. Yeah, probably nothing new with the drums. I did find that the bass was a bit too thin, so I doubled it up with a synth sub octave. So this is original, and then I just gave it more weight with a sub. Just a cool little like 2000s hip hop thing I found. Adds like another rhythm. Yeah, same synth as before. Yeah, I think it just basically like added some more quotes and stuff and cleaned it up a bit. Yeah, then I had started working a bit more on this part. Yeah, so I gave it like the 80s synth pad with some disco drums. Super basic. I have a really cool plugin that's called Chord Gun, where you can just enter the scale and then you have it automatically the exact like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and raised 7 chords, and you can like see try the 5th or sus or whatever, and just play around basically, and it chord gun shoots out MIDI. So if you have a synth that's listening for it, you can just, yeah. So that's a really cool plugin that I usually use when I don't know what chords I'm going to use. Yeah, just put a bass, same sub bass sound, worked fine. And then cleaned up the actual quotes or samples. Put them, like, aligned them a bit better to the BPM and stuff. Still didn't have like the break part yet. And it was 6 p.m. I was kind of stressing over like, okay, I have this really cool intro, and then like I wasn't too happy with how this was turning out. I didn't really know how they were going to work together. So I was thinking of scrapping the second part. So I kind of put that aside and started working on how I was going to continue from the first part.
Dirt, bag it in. Stupid chat. Bag it up. Jingle bells.
And of course, I found the Jingle Bells clip.
The way, oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh.
So there I did the same trick as with the intro, where I just used the natural unedited clip in the beginning here, and as kind of like a fake out, or it takes you out of the song and it's like, oh, something new is happening. And you lose the tempo. I was experimenting with seeing if I could match his cadence or the rhythm with the drums, but it wasn't like sounding cool. I mean, cool videos like with drummers on YouTube who drumming match like how people talk, and they make it sound really nice. But this wasn't really working out, and I didn't have time to make it sound good, so I just gave up on that part. But I think it works better this way anyway. It makes the track breathe a bit more. And then I just like found the open sleigh rhythm.
Oh, Ben Sleigh.
And I just love the way he said that. So it gave me like a kind of modern hip hop, super sub bass, dark, like I guess Billie Eilish kind of vibe. I put it in a cool what is it, like it's a polyrhythm. It's like a 3 against 4, 2 against 3 or something. Let's see here. I think this is 9 p.m., which is the actual deadline. But yeah, I was running a bit late as usual. And by now I pretty much had most of the track done. Yeah, so I added this gurgle synth and the sub. Give it some weight. That's also just like one note. And then found the clips of him talking about the twerk thing, which was super fitting. But to make it even more sensual, if you will, I kind of like faked a harmony or layer. So I just copied the regular Kyle here.
Horse, oh, Ben Sleigh.
Added a pitch shifter that is pitched up an octave, but the format is down an octave. So it turns into this kind of like weird.
Ben Sleigh.
I was going for like a really breathy kind of sound, but it doesn't really do that, but I think it still helps it. So this is just up an octave, standard chipmunk, but if you turn down the format, it's gives a more human vibe.
Oh, Ben Sleigh. Sleigh.
Yeah, you can kind of hear like that whisper, sleigh. Like that's what I was going for. So it gives it like kind of like as if a female vocal was layered with it. And of course, I didn't want to like go too deep into the sexiness, so I found the band clip and thought it was a perfect way to get out of it.
Fucking kill all this shit. Quarantine it. Yeah. Fuck this shit. Fuck all of that. Yep. Destroy it. Yeah.
And yeah, it tied together well. And then I realized that I could tie this into a more triumphant outro, but still butt related, of course, but a bit more lighthearted and like fun. Yeah, and I just smushed them together. But yeah, so this was, oh sorry, that was 8 o'clock. This was 9 o'clock. This is the last one before the final. Here I had started to add like, basically just do a really, really quick mix I organized stuff a little bit better. Here you can see that I didn't have all these vocal clips are just like under one bus. Nothing is panned really. There's no reverb. It's just like layered on top of each other. So here I tried to like have a lead channel with like left and right, which makes this part easier because I just need to place them instead of having to automate pans and stuff. And one channel with like a more reverb heavy thing and some automation. Like on the EQ basically pulling up as traditional in Euro disco, whatever dance music you pick. And just did some mixing. Yeah, I added like a synth lead, I guess you could call it. Just give it a bit more. I was contemplating adding some guitars, but yeah, this was like already 9 o'clock, and I was already running late. So we can listen to the final thing here. You've heard it a bunch before. Yeah, I just wanted to say that something I try to do is like kind of create lyrics with different samples so that it like follows a story or revolves around the same theme, I guess. Like I was talking about before, sometimes that can be hard to kind of communicate. So here I was trying to give the impression that when Kyle's talking about his fiber pills, he's actually talking about Memtrap.
My streamer recommends change of life.
So I tried to like layer this Memtrap so that it would jump out a bit, but I think it was still too buried, so you don't really, or like the vocals are too different, so you don't really get the impression that he's talking about Memtrap, which is something I think I kind of need to work on for future stuff. Because it works when you listen to like this or when you think about it maybe, but just listening to the song, I think it kind of gets lost. Okay, so I kind of wanted it to sound like the instruments are getting destroyed here, and that it's like tying into him saying fuck all this shit. I couldn't find a good drum set like crashing sound, because crash is the cymbal, so if you just search for drum set crash, you're just going to get a bunch of cymbal sounds. It's something I probably have to try to make and record myself sometime. But yeah, so I just mashed my synth, and this is like the drums that came out of it. I think the kicks are a bit too much. It kind of makes it sound like still too rhythmic, but that plus the gurgle synth it still gets the idea across, I feel. You can kind of see how I was piecing together the outro here. So this is an hour before. Yeah, so here you can hear like how I'm still trying to find quote or samples to kind of fit in these holes, basically. Each sample usually has like a good spot in the bar where it fits the best. So for example, I'm a progressive gamer mucho. Works best at the end because that's like where the and then the one. So if it's like a lyric, it usually has a place where it fits the bar. I want to try to match that to the song. So that pretty much dictates a lot of where most clips tend to end up, and then it's just a matter of finding complementary stuff that kind of works with it. And so I wanted to get Big Buddy in there since it was like meant to be a wrap up kind of song of the year, but I had used it already like 2 or 3 times before, so I didn't want it to be like the same old thing or get stale. So I snuck it in with more of an autotune kind of thing and just extended and raised it up a bit.
Is there something you should tell me, Big Buddy? Big Buddy?
Change the melody completely, and yeah. So you don't really notice it because it doesn't follow the same melody as you're expecting, but it's a fun like hidden thing, I guess. Going back to the final version, one thing I wanted to mention was like this rule of 2.5, which is basically how many different voices you can concentrate on before it like becomes a crowd, or you just hear it like a cacophony of different, or you can't perceive what a person is saying if it's more than 3 people talking at the same time. So we have the auto-tuned lead vocal down here, and then you have like a lead.
You walk in trying to get the simpy of my family, but you don't get my simpy at all.
And then on top of that,
Is there something you should tell me, big buddy?
so here we get the 3, but I think that, and so that's a place where it kind of like gets too much, where you can't really, your brain doesn't really register. It gets kind of disorienting at this point because you have 3, and that's what Kyle said. He didn't even hear the big buddy. You're probably mainly focusing on the puppy paws thing, which is supposed to be like the focus. The butterfly thing is underneath it. Your brain kind of always said, okay, I've heard that. What's the new thing? But yeah, so I tried to keep it dense, but not like overcrowded with samples at any time, because you want everything to be heard, basically. So that's another one where I think you don't really hear it unless you listen for it, which is this clip.
You stupid chat. You stupid chat. He did it.
Which is him talking about Mucho high-fiving him. And I put it off to the side because I wanted it to be heard better. You can hear it like on phones better, I think, for some reason. Or if you have like some type of stereo, like when my phone is in stereo mode, you can hear it quite good. But yeah, if you're just listening on mono, it kind of disappears. Yeah, so I usually have just 2 samples going at once at most. That's basically like the song broken down. Thinking about just going through and like showing where everything is sourced from. Honestly, it's mainly from the January-February clip show that Shabella put together, because I started, as I showed you, I clipped out everything and I did it in time with like, yeah, from January, February all the way to I think December. But yeah, that's why most of the clips are from the earlier part of the year, because I just found so much good stuff to use from that video. Not much else is used, honestly. Yeah, just going through the clips can be like a lot of dead air when doing it, just by listening to it, because if it's like a visual gag, you won't have the context for it, so it's not like a funny audio experience. So you really have to listen to like just the sound and see like, does it work that he's just laughing right now? Is the laugh in itself like a good laugh or funny, or is it like rhythmically funny? Because usually it's like, yeah, it's super funny to watch, but if you don't see that Mucho's doing something funny on cam, then it's not going to work as well in the song. A lot of these at the end here are from my own clips, not from the Shabella clips show stuff. Because as I said, usually like the stuff that's funny in audio form isn't always like the funniest stuff to put in like a clip show, and vice versa. Not all the clip show stuff works in audio form. So that whole bit was from the actual worst thing of the year, which was when Kyle downloaded that malware. Honest emotional reactions are always gold material to use, because like he's usually says stuff with like an emphasis, or has like swears a lot, or says weird stuff, caught in the heat of the moment. I'll usually source stuff from emotional outbursts. The Metal Gear Solid thing with the butts was also another like just super funny moment, which ties into a lot of the other times Kyle talks about butts. And yeah, the other thing is just Big Buddy, and then we have the Simpy of My People, and another Ravenlock, and of course my producer tag, which I just slapped on here at the end. That's it. Dirtbaggedy siphon filter. Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. Chabot, I noticed that you split clips up like and pepper them throughout, so that when like the actual funny thing does happen, it pays off. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions or anything? question was, how do I get rid of the background noise from the games or music, etc.? I usually don't, because Kyle's usually centered in the middle, or like he is centered in the middle, and music and sound effects, especially music, is always stereo. So you can get rid of that just by collapsing the file into mono. If it's like a lot of music in the background, as it was with the Metal Gear Solid clips, which are these ones, I think. Yeah, you can even hear it like there. But these are edited, and I do this in Isotope, which has like a spectral rebalance, music rebalance mode. I just pull down bass, production, and other percussion, and just have the voice up there. And it doesn't get rid of everything, but like it's better. Usually when it's like buried with other stuff, you can't hear it. And I'm not that precious about like that stuff. So the only time it's really a problem, or can be a problem, is actually here in the break, the Jingle Bells break, where the bell sound that Kyle was making is pretty noticeably heard.
Ben, sleigh, sleigh. Oh, Ben, sleigh.
So that bell sound is from the clip, and it's kind of annoying because it's not really. I mean, he's singing to it, so it's kind of in time, but it's not entirely. And if I delete that, you'll hear that it's making another rhythm that's counter to the drums. I put another tambourine on the drums. That goes that kind of like supports the clip one. Yeah, and then it goes double time. And that's like the actual rhythm of the whole part, that double time feel. And so with this
Sexually suggestive dancing.
On a one horse.
You are a strange one.
So yeah, it kind of ruins it, but it kind of messes it up when he does the multiple presses here, because that's I had to time stretch that part and it doesn't really line up. So yeah, that was one of those places where it kind of messed it up, but nobody really noticed it, I think. Yeah. Transitions between sections are really smooth, thank you, especially for the different vibes. Yeah, so that was like, I was kind of trying to I guess articulate my process with that whole thing. The real answer is that I just try to go for a feel, or try to see where like the sample leads me, or if I find something I really want to include, I'll just try to like make a new part out of it and blend it together with the old part. This time I wanted to make like a 5-minute epic with like multiple parts and like a bunch of different references throughout the whole thing, but I soon realized that I just didn't have the time. So I started off with the first part that turned out really cool, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this other part that's like a 80s vibe thing, because I like the upbeat. I wanted it to like be more powerful toward the end or another part of it. So I started working on that, and then I just didn't like that part that much. It wasn't vibing with me at the time, this part right here. So I put it to the side for the moment, found the Jingle Bells sample, and let that instead be the transition from
Jingle bells, jingle all.
just let that like flow out into the Jingle Bells thing. And then One Horse Open Sleigh, just the wording really put me into the it lent itself nicely to go into like a clip about twerking. Yeah, and then the fuck this shit part also worked well as a eject hit the eject on that whole thing. So I wish I had like a more concrete answer, but it's just one of those things where I think it's down to me just making music for a really long time and kind of getting a feel for it. There's transitions in proper or like big songs that don't work that well, and a lot of times it can just be like a full bar pause of nothing, and then they just kick into the next part. I usually try to follow some type of dynamic shift. Here it's like it's the same tempo, but it feels like another tempo because it's like, yeah, the drums are in a polyrhythm, which is technically like a slower pace. They're between the kick and the snare. It starts at 105 and goes up to 130 here at the towards the end. Yeah, and that's just because of the rhythm of Memtrap set that BPM originally, and Jingle Bells I found worked close to that part. I mean, just if you set a BPM and just start like putting samples over that BPM, you're gonna find like spots where they naturally line up. It's pretty like eerie. Yeah, you can find weird alignments. Mr. Bell says here. A lot of it is like just luck and moving stuff around and seeing what like makes you laugh. It's and like I view these. I don't view these as like full songs either. I mean, it's more like visions or like parts of like what could be a full song. Usually I make like I make an intro, I make a verse and a chorus, and then just an outro or end it somewhere. Since the rule is to try to make it around a minute. I sometimes hit that, but sometimes I go up to 2. I've never really gone over 2 minutes, I don't think. I don't want the song to outstay its welcome, basically. It's supposed to be funny the whole way, and then when it stops being funny, you just stop. Because there's no reason to like just keep going for another chorus that's the same thing, and unless it's like a super good chorus that's really satisfying to listen to, it's gonna wear out its welcome. So for the context that it's being played in, I try to keep it like just short and snappy. Yeah. I've been thinking about doing like making full song versions of some of my other tracks, and even like taking out the Kyle samples and either replacing them or just making something else up. It's like I just look for sounds, honestly. A lot of the time goes into just searching through presets, finding a sound that's almost what I want, and then trying to like fiddle it to where it sounds cool. Yeah, a lot of the time I just use it as it is as well. But the sounds usually steer the direction of where I'm going. Yeah. So anytime Kyle sings, like that kind of like piques my ear. I'll try to find a way to comb it into something I'm gonna make. Yeah. I don't want to like drag on too long either. Thanks for sticking around.